Hey guys, it's me, Nikki. Um, I made a video the other day, so no need for me to be like, I haven't made a video yet, or in a while. Today I want to talk about something a little more serious. Um, Basically, I want to talk about expectations when it comes to transitioning. I know everybody's is different. I know hormones affect some girls more than others. But I'm going to talk from my point of view and what my expectations were and what the realities were. Um, and I'm doing this with no makeup on or anything to show kind of what has happened to me, I suppose. I know I'm going to get trolled because people are going to be like, oh, but he looks like a dude still and stuff like that. Which is, whatever. I get that a lot anyway. Okay, so I've been on hormones for almost 3 years. And I have been quite bad when it comes to my transition in terms of effort, basically. I have only recently started working on my voice. Like, I tried to work on it like a year ago, and I felt like I sounded stupid, so I gave up. And I kind of, and then I thought to myself, well, the more feminine I look, the more I'll start working on my voice. So I just kind of waited for that to happen, which kind of hasn't. And then I realized that once I did my makeup and stuff, then I would try my voice more often, because there's nothing worse than putting effort into how you look and to have someone be like, hi sir, and you're like, shit. So I got lazy, I started making excuses, and I was like, I'll get to it. So I've only recently started like actually trying to put an effort in, trying to focus on it and stuff like that. I've also been quite bad in the fact that I just started laser last year, and I went for like 8 sessions and nothing happened. So because nothing happened, I got disheartened and I stopped. And my beard is one of my biggest anxiety builders. I could shave and do makeup, and 3 or 4 hours later I'd have like a 5 o'clock shadow through my makeup, which kills me. So I have started laser again, but again, I'm like in my 3rd year. I should have done laser before I even started hormones. So I've just started that. So I wanted to show what trans actually looks like. I do my makeup and stuff like that, and I feel people have a bad, not a bad, but a wrong perception of me. Everyone's like, oh, you're so pretty and you're so this. And the thing is, like, the makeup adds to that a lot. When people see me on the streets without makeup and stuff, and I don't wear makeup every day, because I don't wear makeup to go to work, because it gets all over my camera and stuff. Also, I'm working. I'm not trying to impress anyone. So this is often what I look like. And you can see, like, the beard's there. The laser that I'm going to now is really helping. So, like, I haven't shaved for 2 days, and it's there, but it's not as bad. I used to be like, Boosh. So I want to, so people are like, oh, you're so gorgeous and stuff like that. And the thing is, I'm not really. If anything, I'm androgynous at the moment. I've gotten to, okay, I know my hairstyle and the tattoos and everything add to it. I'm not complaining about being androgynous. I'm being realistic. I know that some girls have been on hormones for like 6 months and they look like Barbie. And that's fine. But when I started my hormones, I expected that to happen to me. I was like, I'm going to go on hormones, and boom, in like a year, people will never tell. And the reality is, that's not the truth. I'm almost 3 years in, and I still get called sir on the daily, and even without me even speaking. So hormones are a miracle. They really do make everything a lot better, but don't expect them to work overnight. And I'm just saying this for girls who are just starting their transition and stuff like that. I've spoken to a lot of girls who are like, I can't wait to start hormones because my life will get better. Don't think of it as a quick fix. It's not going to like you take hormones first day, done. The coming out is a bigger part. And the starting to live as yourself is a very big part. I've been on hormones for 3 months, but I've only kind of like lived as myself this year. Because it's very easy to fall back into that male role because it's easier in society's eyes. So for the last 2 years, I would dress male and put on a male persona when it was easier for me, because I didn't want to have to deal with an awkward situation. Like to the point where I would dress in male clothes if I was going out in public because I'd be too scared to use a female bathroom. So, like, I would pick and choose. And there is nothing wrong with that, but I am female. You know, so only up until this year have I started to embrace that I would wear a bra if I went out in public without makeup on, you know, like, and stuff like that, and go to the female bathroom irrespective, because that's who I am. But it took me 2 years to get there. I had been on hormones for 2 years, and I still wasn't doing that. So don't think that the hormones are going to just miraculously change everything, because they won't. I think the biggest part of the transition is not the hormones. It helps. But it's the acceptance. It's your friends accepting you, and your family accepting you, and people respecting the fact that you want to identify as the opposite gender, or the correct gender. You know, if you're a male to female, or female to male, I think the fact that your family and your friends, and just people in general, just accepting and respecting the fact that that's who you are, that is a massive part. That's, for me, bigger than hormones. Because, you know, I still don't necessarily, like I said, don't necessarily look female, but my family and my friends and everyone refer to me as she and her, because that's what I want. And that's a massive contributing factor to my happiness. It's not the only thing that makes me happy, but it does help. You know, if I was on a desert island and I was taking hormones, I would feel good about myself, but there's none of that gratification. I don't want to come off sounding like you need other people to make you happy, because that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying the hormones themselves are not going to make you happy. Living your life as you are going to make you happy. So I don't want people to come to think that they've got these massive expectations. They take hormones and in a year they'll be like this beautiful. It takes time. And from what I've learned, it takes effort. I know I sound like such a horrible bitch at the moment, because I'm like, it doesn't just happen. But it doesn't. I've been waiting for it to just happen. I'm the biggest culprit of that. I expected my boobs to grow huge. I expected myself to get super skinny. I expected myself to have beautiful long hair. I somehow expected my nose to grow smaller. Like, I expected all of this stuff. And I realized that all of it takes effort. Hormones only do so much. I have lost weight, but that's due to exercise and a lack of resistance training. And the estrogen does help break down muscle fibers and stuff like that. But it's a long, slow process, and it's slower if you don't do anything about it. By exercising and eating right, and a lack of resistance training, and upping the cardio rate, training to increase cardio and stuff like that, so that you burn more fat and muscle, that helps. My voice, I expected it to just be like, and then I was like, screw it, I don't need to change my voice, because, you know, what woman needs to have a high-pitched voice? I realized that's why I get clocked a lot of the time, so I have to put in the effort with my voice, even slightly, you know, so I'm not talking like I normally talk. So I think that's part of the effort you have to put in. The laser, I was just expecting my hair to stop. It didn't. Like, and I knew it wouldn't, but I was like, I'll be the one person who hair stops, you know, and my body hair slowed down and stuff, but my facial hair didn't. And I was like, I'll get to it. And then again, the biggest cause of my anxiety is my beard. So I've had to start. So when you start your transition, it is a hard journey. The first part is telling your friends and family. And you'll be surprised at how many people will support you. I can guarantee it. When I told my family and my friends, I expected everyone to shun me. And they didn't. I did lose some friends. I did have some family arguments. But at the end of the day, the right people stuck with me, and that's all I needed. So that part is probably the scariest, but also the very rewarding, and probably the hardest part. Once you've started seeing a therapist, and you've gone to an endocrinologist, and you've gotten your pills, then comes the patience, because it doesn't just happen. And you can't just stop seeing a therapist, and you can't, so there's money, and so it becomes so frustrating, because you end up putting so much into it in terms of money and time and therapist visits and hormones, and they want to start you on a low dose, and nothing happens. Like, for the first 2 or 3 months of mine, like, nothing happened. I was emotional, that was it. And you know, and then you sit and you feel your boobs, and once they start growing a bit, you're like, ah, and then nothing happens again. And then, you know, your face starts changing, and people go, oh, your face, and you go, ah, and then nothing happens again. And, you know, so it's such a slow process, and I became very frustrated. And I still get frustrated, because I'm still like, come on, guys, 3 years, just give me something, you know? And I have to actually take a second and take a step back and be like, I have changed, but I need to put more effort in. I need to work at it. So I had bad expectations. I expected the world, and I got a peanut. But but I am happy. Because you start living your life, so you become happy, and eventually the changes are irrelevant, because you get so consumed with life and so happy and so distracted by all the praise that you do get, and when you do put up a pretty photo, everyone goes, "Oh, you're so pretty," and you're like, "Oh, yeah," and you actually start to forget about what the hormones are doing. I remember when I started, I was like, wow, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then after like a year and a half, I'm like, 16 months, I think, like now, I'm not even sure, like, I know I started close to 3 years ago, but I don't know exactly, like, because for me, it's less important. I know that I need to take my hormones every day. I know that they're bringing me closer to my goal, but they're not my entire life. They're not. They saved my life, but they're not my entire life. I don't wake up with each day being like, I'm going to take hormones today. Like, no, it's just become part of my routine. And I think that is also important. I think once you start your transition, you get so engulfed, so enveloped by the thought of transitioning and being who you really are. It's so exciting that everything else kind of falls away. And I know that happened to me, and I took people for granted because I was so focused with myself. And eventually you grow out of it, and eventually it just becomes part of your life. And I think then is when you start living authentically, because you've got no distractions. You just are who you are. You're not trying to pretend or anything, or trying to over be who you are, because I did that. I was like, I'm going to be super female, and like dresses and makeup all the time, and that wasn't me. I'm not that kind of girl. I wanted to be that kind of girl, but I'm just not that kind of girl. I'm the tattoo rock chick, like, do that properly before people go, she doesn't even know how to do it. And so I had to learn who I was. So long story short, if you're starting your transition, please just have realistic expectations of what's going to happen to you. I'm not saying it's not going to work, because it will. I'm not saying you will not be happy, because you will be. Just, it takes time, and you need to be patient. Because all good things come to those who wait. That's a good quote. And for those who do watch me and go, oh, you're so pretty, this is actually what I look like, okay? I actually have facial hair, and I actually have weird hair, and my eyebrows are not as good as everyone thinks they are. And I still have muscles. So I'm not, I think, and it's my fault, because I portray myself that way to people. So for some, that's all they see of me. But none of that's real. Trans girls, we have beards. Some, at some point, or most of the points, or forever, or never. Trans girls have Adam's apples. We have deep voices. We have high voices. We have muscles. We're, fetishized. I said this on my Instagram the other day. We're fetishized. People think we're just sexual objects, but we're also completely non-sexual. I myself, so there's all these conceptions of who we should be. We should be beautiful. We should be makeup. We should dresses. But in reality, we're not. I'm not makeup all the time. I'm not hair always down. I'm not always shaved. I'm not always high pitched. Sometimes I'm like this. It's the truth. And I find it funny because I get more attention when I have makeup and everything from a lot of people. But in the moment they see me like this, it's like, oh, yeah, hey. And it's the funniest thing, because it's my fault. I've put myself out there as this pretty whatever trans thing, and I'm not. I'm just a normal human being who identifies as female, but may look somewhat different. And that's not a bad thing. So if you're starting a transition, just be patient, it will come. And if you look slightly different, or slightly more masculine, or slightly more feminine for the female to male trans guys out there, don't get disheartened. I get disheartened, so I'm kind of talking to myself here as well. Don't let it get to you. Don't let it break you down. Just know that in time it will change if you want it to. And if you don't want it to, then it's perfectly cool to be different as well. there is no right way to be us. There is no right way to be you. I'm not going to say there's no right way to be trans. There's no right way to be you. Because you are unique. Even if you were the most perfect trans person. I put this in there because there's no perfect way to be trans. So I'm just emphasizing this thing. But, you know, if you were that person, you would still be unique because you're you. So I think just embrace who you are. Be patient when it comes to the changes. They will come if you want them to. And just be happy with what you have right now. Because right now could be the last now that you ever had. If that makes any sense. Anyway, thank you. Bye.